time for Crashing the Boards. I'm Hannah Hoover as we welcome you into the show. Brian Keating has the night off. He will be missed. Fall camp is in full swing, and it's been 2 weeks of football so far. OU is getting ready to face a tough SEC schedule this season with matchups like Texas, Alabama, LSU, and Tennessee. Those are some big names just right there. First week of SEC play begins with Tennessee, a welcome home to Josh Heupel, and a team that on paper looks pretty darn good with their QB on the Heisman watch list. It's way too early for any type of prediction, of course, but when it comes to who is on the roster for OU and specifically the Oklahoma offense, there's a lot of new faces this year from the transfer portal. Tight end Jake Roberts is one of those faces, the hometown guy. He is fired up to finally be a Sooner.
Sometimes I just have to pinch myself and remember, like, dang, like I'm playing for OU. I've been dreaming of this my whole life. The tight end in this offense, you're going to be asked to block, you're going to be asked to run routes and get out in the pass game, and then you're also going to be asked to pass protect. So I think the strength is the ability to do a lot of things at a high level. So I think you can expect us to do a lot of that this year. Coach V talks about the basics a lot. You know, keep it simple, don't keep the main thing, and we're just focused on doing the little things right.
And I might add, Roberts is from Norman North High School. He got his start at North Texas before playing at Baylor, as well as a few other guys now at OU, transferring from the Mean Green down in Denton, right back here to Norman. Seth Luttrell spent some time as UNT's head coach, so there's a connection there before becoming OU's offensive coordinator, but he's no stranger to Norman, a legacy, of course, right here. Either way, this year, there's been a lot of changes on offense. A new quarterback, a new offensive coordinator, and as far as Luttrell, he came up through the ranks under guys like Mike Leach, Sonny Dykes at TCU. His roots are in the famous air raid offense, so expect a lot of passing this year in the SEC, especially with a quarterback with such strong arm talent like Arnold. It's always fun for me during camp and during this time to hear straight from the players about QB1 and their thoughts on Jackson Arnold. So here's a few sounds from fall camp.
Jackson's leadership role and how he's bringing the offense along, and he's doing very well at it.
He's a dude. I mean, he can sling it for sure, and it's been great working with him. I feel, you know, being a younger guy too, I feel like I'm able to help him with some of the experience side of things.
We want him to be back there and be able to sit the ball down and take a drink if he has to. Like, we want him to have all of his options available. You know, whoever he wants to throw to, you know, just give him enough time to punch it in there.
And we can't move on from the Sooners without talking a little bit about Brent Venables' defense. It's a veteran group, of course, with guys like Danny Stutzman leading the charge. We've heard Venables comment on the growth and depth at the linebacker position this fall. And as far as the secondary, well, Billy Bowman Jr. is set to have a standout year as well, with guys like Peyton Bowen following in his footsteps. Here's a few words from the Sooner defense after Saturday's practice.
Danny is like, you're going to get his best, and he's going to motivate you to do your best.
The offseason for me, you know, is all about obviously gaining weight and learning. And, you know, now that we're here in fall camp, it's about putting it all together and just going full speed in it. We feel ready for sure. I mean, obviously game time's not really there. Still kind of in the chopping wood aspect of it since we're in a fall camp, but like, we'll be ready.
I think we can be the #1 defense in the country if we just do the little things right, stay disciplined.
With Venables' defense and veteran talent like Billy Bowman Jr. and Danny Stutzman, nurturing depth at fall camp is essential for the defense.
A year ago, we bragged about competitive depth. I do think there was a slight drop-off between that first and second group a year ago, and not near the drop-off, if any at all. I think about linebacker, and again, the transformation that's taken place there in the last year and a half from our first year, where we really felt like only had 3 guys that could go play in a game, and to where we're at now. Night and day.
We have a lot of young guys, but they know what they're doing. They're learning fast.
And a big big win for Oklahoma, acquiring Dominic Williams, the defensive tackle from TCU, who moves well and has great strength.
I feel like in this defense, I have no limitations at all. In a sense, like I can do anything and everything that Coach VB and Coach Bates asked me to do.
It's going to be down to the wire week after week with a tough schedule in the SEC with matchups like Tennessee, Texas, and Alabama. Speaking of down to the wire games, here's what Mike Gundy thinks about his defense and its progress so far.
This was an unusual defense last year. There were times that they won games for us. And then there were times that we gave up too many yards. We dropped coverage, and in the first 3 games we didn't tackle very well. The good news is we have identified what the issues were, and now the coaches have to work to fix those issues and find a plan to get the players to understand why that happened and how we can get better.
Colin Oliver and Nick Martin expected to have big seasons and itching to get back to the Big 12 championship.
It means something to us, and it just shows how important it is to our team to want to be back in that game and be on the winning side of it.
Starting QB Alan Bowman says he's grateful for the experienced defense, challenging the offense from the jump at fall camp.
What the defense has done and how many different pressures that they've put on us in only the first 3 to 4 practices. So it's been really fun, and I think it's good that they do so much because it's going to prepare us for the season.
Up next on Crashing the Boards, more from the Oklahoma State Cowboys, all things Gundy, Ollie Gordon, Rashad Owens, and Nick Martin. The Pokes are set to have a big year in the new look Big 12. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
We've got good players and guys that are returned and they're experienced, but we just got a lot of things we have to get cleaned up to get back to the success that we've had here for 20 years is based on discipline, one, and toughness. And I thought that we were okay today from a toughness standpoint, but our discipline wasn't very good, just too many mistakes.
Welcome back into the show. I'm Hannah Hoover. OSU is in their 10th day of fall camp now, 2 weeks under their belt. Mike Gundy walked into the presser yesterday a little disappointed, knowing that the Pokes were capable of calling for more discipline, if you will, as you heard, but there's a few more weeks to clean things up. And if we go back in time to just a year ago, it took the Cowboys a few games to find their identity on offense, which quickly became the Ollie Gordon show. He had an amazing year last season, but this year there looks to be a little more balance on offense with a healthy offensive line and a stacked receiver room with Rashad Owens set to have a really big year.
He falls in the category with Ollie and Bowman and Brennan and some of the veteran guys, Corey, Walter Sheed, Nick. They have to train, practice, and have a better attitude and work harder than they ever have in their career if they want this team to win this year. And he's done that. One thing about him, he competes. When he goes on the field, he competes. When he goes on the practice field, he competes. He doesn't shy away from anything. That's the most important thing that he can do for our team.
Gundy loves a competitor. Having a more balanced offense is possible due to the depth and experience at the offensive line position, with 7 offensive linemen returning. They all made multiple OSU starts during the 2023 season, with 6 redshirt super seniors and 1 redshirt senior. Experience is not an area that they're lacking in. Rashad Owens gives high praise to the guys up front after his explosive playmaking in 2023 and a breakout season.
Having a O-line that's super experienced and that's really old, and you know that we know they're comfortable enough to get the job done. You know, that gives time for the running back to create a hole. That's to give time for receivers to run the routes and quarterbacks time to, you know, read the defense and find the open spot. So I mean, it's really good that we got a super experienced O-line, and we're truly blessed that we got the guys coming back.
We're a pretty tight-knit group. We hang out outside of football and everything like that. So I think it comes down to kind of like a trust thing. You know, you're playing next to a guy you trust that he's going to have, you know, make the block that he's supposed to. So if you're, you know, having a double team, you know, if your backer shoots over the top, you know he's going to take it over.
Can't wait to watch this offense do what they do with an in-sync offensive line. And as far as young players getting reps, Gundy mentioned that he is not going to shy away from opportunities to let them play and get real game time experience to keep adding depth on this roster. When it comes to defense, players like safety Kendall Daniels and linebacker Colin Oliver give OSU the opportunity to showcase a versatile scheme depending on who they're playing. Here's a few words from the Pokes defense.
been healthy. It's been real competitive. Everybody going in and trying to get better every day.
I try not to be complacent because our coach tells us every day, no matter who it is, we still have to go out there, compete at the highest level because it starts with us. If we're not going, they can go off at receiver. And then we do have young people that's still trying to learn the defense, and they still even push me and KB to be better and chase perfection.
More from Stillwater as we hear from our very own Brian Keating for his thoughts on the Cowboys. OSU out for redemption in 2024 after making it to the Big 12 championship last season.
There seems to be a vibe at Oklahoma State.
You can tell the team is really hungry. Got a lot of returners back.
O-line, running back, quarterback, receiver. So we definitely got some big things coming this way.
There are huge expectations for the Pokes and returning starters out the wazoo.
Right there.
Oklahoma State has 21 of 22 starters back, including all 5 offensive linemen, which is the very best friend to an All-American running back.
Teams wish they could get their their 5-year player, their 5-year lineman back, but for us to actually do it and have it done, I feel like it's a huge thing. It really makes all of us excited, especially me. I get to run behind him again. I really love it. I'm happy for it.
And that's just part of the reason the Cowboys are dreaming big in 2024.
It's a big year.
With some elite returning starters. Ollie Gordon, of course, was the nation's leading rusher. But Alan Bowman is the Big 12's returning leading passer. And Brennan Presley was the Big 12's leading receiver last season. And Rashad Owens, he was the MVP of the Texas Bowl.
It's going to be hard for a lot of teams to try to cover, the whole team. If you stack the box, then you got to play the pass game. And you got 3 beast receivers that has many experience, that can go and get the ball for sure and make plays. And then if you try to play covers, light the box, be light in the box, then you got Ollie in there running plays. We got some big things coming.
Welcome back into Crashing the Boards. We've talked college football. Now let's take a look at what's happening with the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, he's a hot button topic around the NFL. And today, Jerry Jones clarified why he doesn't have a sense of urgency to negotiate with Lamb on his contract. He explained that desire and urgency are not the same thing. After all, Lamb would not have played in this preseason game today. So we continue to wait for the CeeDee Lamb contract news. But earlier this afternoon, the Cowboys faced the LA Rams, and all eyes were on Trey Lance in a backup battle with Cooper Rush using his legs here for a first down. In Sunday's game, Lance showed good progress with 188 yards, but no touchdowns, unfortunately, for the young QB. Final score, 13-12 Rams. And we all know preseason games don't mean just a ton as far as wins and losses. You still want to win, but it's all about evaluating guys on the bubble to see who makes the final cut. I'm a Dallas girl, and I know not to put too much stock in this season. You can be disappointed easily, but that being said, I always want the Cowboys to win. Hopefully this season with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, they have an explosive offense and make it to the playoffs. I'd like to see that. Have a great night. Thanks for joining me on Crashing the Boards.